evening. Please rise. And Trustee Clark, would you lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before you're all seated, I'm going to call an audible here. We just learned of the passing this week of Don Farnham Sr., who was World War II veteran, Iwo Jima survivor, in the television world forever, Emmy Award winner, and so forth, and one of our Riverside residents. So please pause for a moment of silence. May he rest in peace. Thank you. Okay, this is the February 11th meeting of the Riverside Township Board of Trustees, and Clerk Blau, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Present.
Trustee Drapka?
Present and accounted for.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Present.
Supervisor Wilt?
Here.
Let the record note, Clerk Blau's in attendance. Trustee Lumper is not in attendance at 7:02.
Thank you. All right, the approval of the minutes of the January 14th meeting is on the table, so do I hear any motions for this, for these minutes?
So moved.
I have a motion to accept the minutes of the January 14th meeting of the Board of Trustees. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We also have the minutes of the February 4th special meeting called for the purpose of awarding a contract for the elevator repairs. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion we approve the special meeting of February 4th, 2020.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept and approve the minutes of the February 4th special meeting. Is there any addition or correction to these minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. And finally, we have the Committee of the Whole minutes from February 4th as well. What is your pleasure?
Make a motion to pass the minutes of the February 4th Committee of the Whole meeting.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and second to approve the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting from February 4th, 2020. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you. And on to communications. Clerk Blau, do we have any
We have
communications?
one communication this evening from a Riverside resident, Miss Diane, I'm not sure how to enunciate her last name, Crstulvich. If I try, I will slaughter the name, I'm sure. She says, greetings, thank you for all you do. FYI, Lysol kills the coronavirus. There are 8 different strains. Testing is not yet completed. And the latest strain, however, Lysol is recommended. Most must stay wet for 2 minutes. Keep away from children and pets. Wash hands after use. She says, read the label. Also kills the flu virus. We will beat this. So it was an interesting note.
So she just wanted to tell us Lysol?
Yes.
Yes, I guess so. She wanted all of us to know. So I think it's very interesting. We've never had a
No,
communication like this before.
Very good. Is there anything else?
No, that's
No other
that concludes.
communications?
And I just,
I guess that was enough. Okay, our next item on the agenda is visitors' remarks, other than if you're here to speak to a grant. If there is something that you would like to share with this audience, you are welcome now. Please identify yourself each time you step up to the microphone, and I hope that you have all signed in at the door.
Good evening, I'm Fran Sidkowitz. I'm here in my capacity as Township Assessor. I'm here to report on the activities of what's happening in our office. The Cook County Assessor's Office has mailed reassessment notices today to all property owners in Riverside Township, and the appeal process has started. That's the indication that the appeal process has started, and the last day to file appeals will be March 23rd. Our office is available to help residents find comparables if they're interested in filing an appeal, and just help them make sense of this whole process. So we will be sending out our emails through our constant contact. We have about 1,200 residents who are in our constant contact. We will be publishing information in the newspaper. We will have an outreach and extended hours to accommodate everyone. And of course, we'll be updating the website with all this information. The Cook County Assessor's Office has implemented a lot of changes. So now that we know what they are, we can make all this information public and help everyone through this process. We are also currently assisting all of our residents with exemptions, and I spent a day in North Riverside last week to assist our residents in North Riverside who have a hard time dealing with the parking in the building here. So I was there and I had a full day of seeing people, so they really appreciate us coming out there. And so that is what we'll be keeping busy with for the next 40 days. Any questions?
Thanks for everything you do, Frank.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other visitors other than grant applicants? Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Lisa Swissionis. I live at 519 Selborne, and I just wanted to plug the 50th year of the Hauser Food Drive. It's 50 amazing years, and we're kicking it off. We're ahead of the game this year, but it officially starts around February 26th, and we have a goal of collecting 15,000 cans, or non-perishable food items, and we're going to pack 50,000 meals this year. So if you're familiar with the meal packing event that concludes the food drive on April 4th, Saturday, April 4th in the Hauser cafeteria, about 500 people come and pack meals that day, and we're hoping we can reach that 50,000 mark this year. In order to do that, we need to raise money to buy the food, so we're well underway with getting people to donate food and money. So there'll be lots of information that's coming out in the town. Just wanted to let you know, because Vera's been a big part of this over the years, and just so you know that the Hauser Food Drive, all of these years, they donate everything that's collected to a food pantry in Inglewood, primarily through the Salvation Army, but they also bring food to this Riverside Township. Every month we have students that come from Hauser and make the delivery and stock the shelves and can just bring it all together, that we can help feed the hungry right in our own community and communities that are also in need, not necessarily in our neighborhoods. So it's a good lesson for adults and kids, and we appreciate the support from everyone, and we can feel that the momentum and the energy is already picking up, and we're very excited. So I believe there's also going to be a collection box here at the township. Vera may or may not be aware of that yet, but so anybody wants to bring food items, and then we've got on our Hauser PTO website, you can see our links for volunteering in any capacity and or making donations. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh yes.
You said it starts February 26th. Is there an end?
April 4th is
April
that
4th,
we end with that meal packing event.
Okay.
So we're collecting the entire month from February to April 4th.
Okay, and I know several of us have signed up several of the trustees have
To
signed
pack?
to
Yes.
pack.
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful. That's great.
It's
We're
a
on
great
our-
event. I enjoy that. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Island hot dog's great.
I know.
I do.
The Luppers are always there. I know, we've gotten so much support.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
yeah.
great, and it's growing, and I think people really, it helps. There's so many ways that you can contribute, and bringing the community together on that day in particular and putting the meals together. really, it's been a wonderful event, so,
And
Congratulations on your 50 years.
thank you.
It's
As a
wonderful.
person that went to Hauser, I was probably one of the first.
So, Mr. B, and he's coming out this year, and he's
Oh,
gonna
is
talk
he?
to the kids, and
Oh,
we
great.
might even have some special news coverage for the event. We're trying to keep it a secret, but it's,
Okay.
real, but it's, yeah,
Yeah,
so
he
we-
was my homeroom teacher,
wonderful.
so it was very, but is there anything else? And I want to say, Ms. Trustee Heidenbach, too.
What's that?
Yes,
You were
both of
probably
them
at
had volunteered
Hauser
to join me.
when they first started the food.
I was not. I went to St. Mary.
Oh, okay, so sorry.
Yeah. I was a troubled child.
Is there anything else we can do to help?
I think just by spreading the word and telling your neighbors and coming out on that Saturday, and if anybody wants to make personal donations of food or money, the money is used to purchase food to donate. So we're just, and any way we can get the word out is, so this forum is really helpful, and I was not really prepared to speak
Those
about it.
jars that you have out on April 4th, does that go to you guys to purchase food, or does that go to the Salvation Army for their?
The jars?
No, yeah, you have tip jars out there on April 4th when we do the event.
So when you register to pack a meal
Right.
online, you can commit, we charge about $5, we charge $5 a person to pack.
Okay.
So you either pay ahead of time or you pay the day of. If people want to make an additional donation, they can also do that on that
Right.
day. And all of the money collected right up until the 4th
Right.
goes towards those meals that we're packing that day.
Okay,
So it costs, it's 30 cents a meal. So for
Right.
50,000 meals, we have to raise $15,000.
right.
So we do charge the $5 to pack, but we
Yeah.
need a lot more money to get to that, to reach that goal. But basically, whatever we collect is what we're gonna buy and is what we're gonna pack. So there's nothing bad that happens. It's just a nice goal that we would really like to reach that 50 mark.
Okay,
So,
Thank you very
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, it's a busy night.
Just real quickly, my name is Jim Bell, 579 East Parkway Road, Riverside. I'm here to endorse, and I've not been to one of these meetings before, so it may not be appropriate for me to be up here, but to endorse the Young Life annual banquet. I know one of the items on the table is allowing alcohol, so just to make myself available for questions or concerns, and since I'm up here to also say that we're really looking forward to the food drive as well. So
Thank
that's
you.
all I have.
We probably will have some questions for you when we get to that point on
Sure.
the agenda.
Sure.
Thank you. All right. Then we will move along under new business. The first item is grants. The first grant is a request from Access to Care for an amount of $5,000. Do we have someone from Access to Care here? Thank you. You want to just give us just a little capsule?
Sure. I'm not sure how many are unfamiliar with Access to Care. I was here last year, so I want to thank you first for the weather, because it's much nicer than it was last year. I'm saving that for tomorrow. My name is Kimberly Mertz, and I'm the COO at Access to Care, and we are celebrating our 32nd year serving those in need. We provide primary health care services to low-income, uninsured, and underinsured residents of suburban Cook County. And there's three main pieces to that. We provide the ability to see a doctor for $5, receive lab and radiology for $5, and prescriptions for $15 to $40 for a 30-day supply. When I was here last year, I mentioned some new things that we added in 2019. So we also have behavioral health services. Our members can see a clinical psychologist for $5 a session. We now cover addiction and substance abuse medications, including Narcan. In the car on the way over, I think the last statistic I heard was 1,000 Cook County residents a year die from opioid addiction. And we opened up our pharmacy to all major pharmacies in suburban Cook County. So our members can go to any pharmacy to get their prescriptions filled for access to care, and we cover their diabetic test strips, flu vaccines, and pneumonia vaccines for free. We're extremely happy with these new additions that we were able to put in for 2019. Our support comes primarily from Cook County and the townships and the municipalities that we serve. And that local funding is key because it opens up the doors for additional funding from other public and private donors. Last year, you probably heard that Cook County originally eliminated us from their funding, and it was the support of the townships and the municipalities and the commissioners that put us back in that budget for 2020. So we're extremely grateful. We serve about 5,000 people a year. That's what our budget allows. There were 12 individuals from your township that received our services last year. I have actually been with Access to Care for 30 years. This is my 30th anniversary being a member of their team. And one of the reasons I stay is because there continues to be this need. I wouldn't have thought that 30 years ago. 75% of our members say they had no medical benefits before they joined our program. About 50% of them said they used the ER when they were sick. And a third of them said that they had to choose between food or going to a doctor and receiving medication because they just did not have the ability to pay for both. So even though healthcare has extremely changed in 30 years, that need has not changed. So we're extremely grateful for the partnership that we've had with you, and we're thankful for your consideration of funding this next year.
Are there any questions from the board?
I have.
Sure.
How do people find out about your service?
Well, we are out in the community constantly at any event, health fair, in that capacity. We're online. Most of the townships and municipalities that we serve are also intake sites for us. So as people may be signing up for energy assistance or visiting that food pantry, they are also hearing about us. We've recently been at a lot of the Salvation Army food drives, and we have grocery bags with applications and flyers, and we've been handing them out at those events as well.
Do you have any brochures?
Yes, we do. We have brochures, we have flyers, absolutely.
Okay, well, we've got a community resource center here,
Okay,
and I think that would be a pretty good place to have your brochures here, so if you could drop some off.
no, that would be awesome. I have
So-
some with me this evening, and I can provide you with more.
Absolutely, because I think that this is a very important thing, and it's most important, we have found out, that you've got to really network this thing out there, where people don't know about it,
No.
so.
They either don't know about it or they don't think it's there anymore.
Right.
They think that the Affordable Care Act fixed everything, and it didn't. So, yeah, no, that's key.
And if I may piggyback on your plug, and I'm sure our supervisor is going to take care of this, but we're having our 150th anniversary for our township event, September 19th, 2020. So we encourage you and all of the grant applicators that we award grants to come out and have a booth and be able to
Awesome.
showcase yourself all day.
Absolutely.
During that.
Thank
during
you.
that.
Okay,
You'll
we do
get
a
more
lot of that.
information, but yeah, put a marketing your calendar.
Nope, I got it
now.
right here. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, September 19th.
I make a motion that we
Well,
approve
I
this
have
grant.
an additional question.
Sure.
It's not necessarily your grant, but it's, excuse my cough. We are okay on our town
Yes,
programs.
yes.
There's a lot of
If
grants
we,
going on
if
today.
we granted everything that's been applied for tonight, it's within the budget yet.
Okay. No further questions?
Okay.
I
Thank you so
heard-
much.
I heard the beginnings of a motion.
I did, yes.
I
You
just
moved-
have one question.
Oh, sure.
The $5,000 will go, you said, to enroll 8 Riverside?
Yes, that will cover 8.
So, and is that for a year?
Yes,
I was
it's-
just doing some math here, so about $625 per person?
That's our per person cost for 2020, yeah. But
Okay.
that's unlimited, so they pay their $5 office visit, and they pay that $5 copay for lab and radiology, but they can go as many times as they need within a
And with the
year.
prescriptions too.
Right,
Everyday
exactly.
Prescriptions, if they're paying $40, you know, that's,
Right.
$480 right there.
So that is your enrollment cost.
Yeah, the per person cost is about $625 per person per year for 2020.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion by trustee Drapka, second by trustee Clark, to approve the $5,000 grant to Access to Care Suburban Primary Healthcare Council. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Blau, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lumpfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
The motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great program.
Thank you so much.
Okay, our next grant application is from the Riverside Troop 24 Scouts, the Boy Scouts of America, and that one is through Riverside Presbyterian Church. Is there someone here to speak to it? Yes. Would you please step to the microphone and identify yourself? Okay. Is this additional material to what's in the packet that was submitted?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, good evening. My name is Liam Coombs. I'm currently a Life Scout at Riverside Troop 24. I'm working on my Eagle project, and I could really use your guys' help. So, you see, my Eagle project is pretty ambitious because my budget is somewhere between $7,600 and $10,000. So it's a pretty hefty project. So I'm a freshman at Riverside Brookfield High School, and I'm a percussionist in the music department. This was my first year in the marching band, and it was really fun. But most of the time, the not so fun part is with the growing number of students and a lack of instruments for everyone in the marching band, and a lack of money in the music department's budget, there aren't enough percussion instruments for everyone in the marching band. So there are times when my friends marched onto the football field in front of everyone without an instrument. Yeah. So, we all made the best of it, and, we clapped our hands when we were supposed to, hit a drum or bang a cymbal. But, it was pretty disheartening to me. And because, here we are trying to raise the spirits of our fellow students, the football team, the community, and our families, and we don't have enough instruments. It's also a little sad because we have an incredibly generous community, and yet the music department's budget has stayed the same for 5 years. And it's only going to get worse. You see, the percussion section is made up of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. There's no seniors, so no one's going to be aging out. So we're just going to have more people next year. Now, you might think that not having an instrument for a football game isn't that big of a deal. Unfortunately, that's just one instance. You see, without enough instruments, we can't practice. We can't learn new songs, new techniques, and we can't get better. And we can't support the rest of the band in the way they need us to. We don't have enough instruments for performances in parades, pep rallies, community events, and the list goes on. So tonight, I'm asking you to help fund part of my Eagle project so I can refurbish enough percussion equipment for every student.
I have a couple of questions. So, first of all, and I'm going to say this because I know him because I went to high school with him. What the hell's James' mom doing over there? Get him to get some more money for you guys, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck? No, but seriously, so how many drums are you fixing? It probably is in here, and it's quite lengthy, and thank you, it's very concise, but I guess I'm missing it. How many drums are you actually?
16.
16.
16.
Bottom of the first page.
Yeah.
And you're dealing strictly with the percussion? rather
Yes,
than trying
yes,
to get
just
anyone
just
else.
percussion, not brass or woodwinds.
So then where are you gonna come up with the other estimated costs of $2,600?
Well, I have some other philanthropic organizations that I plan on asking for money.
But this is your first stop?
Yes.
Gotcha. And when are you gonna do this project?
I'm hoping to complete it before June 2020, or this year.
And you are actually gonna be refurbishing these drums yourself?
No, I'm gonna be assembling a team that I will then lead to refurbish the drums.
A team of other students or other
Yes,
scouts?
yeah, like scouts, music students. RB has a good engineering program and applied arts program, so I plan on asking some of those guys, you know, so.
Do you have some experts in the field also to help you, to guide you, I hope?
I am friends with the CEO of a very large cymbal company in the U.S. So I can ask him for help. I also have worked with many professional drummers. Like I've played with them, you know, roadied for them.
Drums is more labor than expertise.
Is it?
Yeah, I
wasn't
believe
sure.
you're just basically replacing the heads, am I right?
Oh no. We have to completely disassemble all of the drums. We have to take the wrap off of the drums, which is really hard because it's like this really sticky adhesive. We have to sand it down because it's going to be rough under there. We have to clean and polish all of the hardware. We have to account for any hardware that's missing, and we have to replace the hardware. Lots of hardware.
Do you have any idea how much it would cost to have those professionally refurbished? A lot?
Well, I'm not sure if there is a service to refurbish them. I know to replace them it would cost up to $20,000.
So, and this isn't necessarily a question to you, but it's a general comment. And I've always had an issue with the Scouts grant application to us. I've always wanted to bring it back home. And this is the exact thing that I've been talking about for years on this board, that I want our grants to the Scouts to go to the kids who live in the township. So this is a perfect opportunity for us to kind of put our money where our mouth is. So I strongly support your grant application.
Yeah, and on that note, I'm assuming that, Tim Studelman, right, from the council? He's the leader of the council.
Probably beyond this young man's viewer.
But the council is familiar, I mean, with your project?
Yes,
I can tell you
yes,
they're
yes.
aware of
They
it for
have-
sure, because
they've,
I actually
approved
met
the
with
project.
Mr. Stuhlman, and
Yeah.
he was made aware of this grant and was very pleased to hear that
Gotcha,
it was.
okay.
So the check is gonna go to the troop, the Riverside Troop
Okay.
24, right? And then as you need money, they will parcel that money out?
Yes.
Good answer.
You've got three people that are representing you, Tim Logger and Carrie Stabas and Tom Frenzel.
Yes.
They've obviously said that they're for you on this project.
Mm-hmm.
Is your Scoutmaster gonna be running with the money here, or is it gonna be Carrie or Mr. Frenzel?
Can I back up?
Sure.
Hi, my name is Dawn Dimitra. I'm the Troop 24 Eagle Committee Coordinator.
Could
Stand
you
up and
step,
come on
could you
up.
step up to the
All right.
podium? Thank you.
What our policy is, for transparency and everything, is if you were to make the check out to the troop, our troop treasurer then would take care of that, her name's
Okay.
Cindy Anderson. So, either she could write a check to whoever Liam would need the money to go to for the purchases, or if his family is willing to, they can make the purchase, turn in the receipts, and then be reimbursed out of this money. And then the check would be earmarked specifically for Liam's project. It would, and any remaining money then would go to the, which I don't know if there will be, will go to the beneficiary, directly to the beneficiary, who is the RV Music Department.
Very good. Any other questions? Then I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll
grant.
make a motion that we grant Riverside Troop 24 $5,000 for Liam Combs' Eagle Scout project to
I'll
refurnish
second
the drums. Did you say that one?
Yes, to refurbish
it.
drums.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Lupfer, to grant the $5,000 requested grant to Riverside Troop 24 for the project of, the Eagle Scout project of refurbishing 16 drums for Riverside Brookfield High School.
One last thing, and I don't know if this should be added in here somewhere, but maybe at the end of this, maybe we could get a copy of all those receipts as well, so that we're covered on our end, you know, for auditing purposes and stuff like that, after the project is over with, and once he turns in the receipts and stuff, maybe we can have a copy of all that.
Or at least a report of it, how it was spent.
I will work with Liam to make sure that happens.
Thank you.
It's part of your project, congratulations.
All right, well,
Accountability.
let's go to the vote first. Would the clerk please call the roll for this grant?
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Drapka.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach,
Yes.
trustee Lupfer,
Yes.
supervisor Wilt.
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is third one, which is Best Buddies International. And I think we have a representative here who's stepping up to the podium.
Did you, Supervisor, would you be able to make an announcement about the checks?
Yes. If you would like, I can make it now. We do have a big honkin' check, is the best way I can describe it. An oversized check that's on an erasable surface, so we can do a presentation photo if that would help you in your further fundraising or publicity of your various projects. So if you stick around, we can take probably a quick break to do those. Or else you'd have to wait until the end of our meeting. But this is the bulk of what's going on at this meeting. So, just so you know that. Thank you.
That's a good picture.
Good evening, my name is Adam Wilt. I am the Illinois State Director for Best Buddies International, and I am here once again to present a grant for your approval, specifically funding our organization and helping to support our programs here within Riverside Township. We are very proud to now have 3 chapters. Last year when I reported, we had 2 chapters of Best Buddies here in the township. One of those is at Riverside Brookfield High School. That chapter has 53 active members that support 18 one-to-one friendships between individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and peer students within the school. We also have a chapter at Hauser Junior High School, which serves 95 members. That's up from 30 last year. And that chapter has 10 one-to-one friendship matches and was actually recognized last year by Best Buddies Illinois to be the Rookie of the Year chapter in Illinois for their success as a first-year chapter. We are also very excited to share that since last year's presentation, we have a new chapter at Central Elementary School, and that chapter has 92 student members as part of that chapter, which is a very high amount. I've heard nearly every student in the school is a part of the Best Buddies chapter. The other part with elementary school chapters for our program, we do not have the one-to-one friendships in the same way at the elementary school level. We do call those chapters promoter chapters, where the purpose of those chapters is to promote inclusion for students with and without disabilities throughout the way that the school has activities, social events, and really incorporate that into not just the curriculum, but into the environment within the student body. So very happy to share some of the success we've had, and that's been in part due to the support of Riverside Township over these last few years. We are excited, especially seeing the success at Central, at the possibility of continuing to grow our program into additional schools within the township, and specifically District 96 right here. So be happy to answer any questions you may have about Best Buddies Illinois. I do want to note that this year is the 30th anniversary for Best Buddies here in Illinois as an organization. We started here in Illinois in 1990. As an organization, we were founded in 1989 at Georgetown University, and this year our Illinois State chapter is celebrating its 30th year because that was the first place we had a presence here in the state of Illinois, and that chapter has actually made the goal this year to celebrate their 30th year to raise $30,000 for our Friendship Walk. Last year they were the #2 chapter in the country of all chapters with $22,000. So for any Illinois State alumni or supporters here, that's just a little fun fact about the way that our organization has really grown throughout the state in that time.
I just have to say that, you came to us 2 years ago, I believe, the first time. I had never heard of Best Buddies. It's a sign of a good program that over the last couple of years, I hear about it all the time.
That's great.
And it's a real good organization, and I'm proud that we sponsor it, I really am.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. Any
Any
other?
questions?
I make a motion that we award the grant of $2,500 to Best Buddies.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Heilenbach, to grant the requested $2,500 for Best Buddies International Illinois. And are there any other questions, or?
I do have comments as well. I'm kids in D96. And the energy you guys have is great. It's permeates the whole school, the whole culture. So you're doing a great job. The award for Rookie of the Year, the kids really glommed onto that. So keep up that good work.
Thank you.
Okay. Then Clerk Blau, would you please call the roll to vote on this motion?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you. Okay, next up is LJ Hauser Junior High, and this is a request for $3,000, and it is for, I'll let you tell about it, because I'm searching for, it is the Cougar Advance, thank you, ADVA. All right, is there someone here from Hauser to speak to this? All right. This is a repeat. We've had a request for this program before. As I recall, this is for the students to participate in an instructional experience, this time in Martinsville, Indiana, at Bradford Woods, and that will take place April 29th, 30th, and 1st. And also, this helps to fund the participation of students that would not otherwise be able to do this. And this provides 20 families with a 50% scholarship to attend that. What is your pleasure?
Well, here's the thing. The last couple of years, we've awarded, the last several years, $1,500, and now they want, they're requesting $3,000. I'd kind of like to know why it's doubled.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd like to know, like, a little report more about how we helped out last year. You know, which I'm sure we did, absolutely, but I'd like to know a little bit of how it was received and everything else. You know?
And we went through this last year with that, too.
Right.
Remember when they came to us last year, we wanted every student, 8th grader, to be able to go on this, and we told them to come back and to ask
For more.
for what they
Yes.
needed, so
Yeah.
every student could go on that, and
Yeah.
I think that's what they were doing.
Yeah, but the
Yes.
thing is that I think that's what they were doing.
I
There should
agree
be
with you.
somebody here from Hauser, I'm sure that's the reason.
I'm
Right.
sure that something
But
came up
somebody
because they
should
were
be
aware.
here to tell us, explain that, especially since, as we all know, we always have questions. So,
Well, let's table this
Yeah.
until
I
our
would table
March
it.
meeting.
Well, we do have time too, because it's not until April their
Right,
trip,
so let's
so.
table it to March meeting and ask them to be present.
Would you like to make that motion?
Okay.
Do I need to make it a motion?
I think we should.
You're asking us to, well, you're not laying it on the table, because that could lay there indefinitely. You were asking for this to be postponed for consideration on the March
To the March
meeting agenda.
And to have somebody present.
I'll second our motion for postponement.
Have a shake-up on the assistant principal's leaving, so they might be a little short-staffed.
That's possible. We have a very,
Well, that, just make sure that there's somebody here next, Supervisor
But
Wilt
every
Okay.
grant application,
yes,
should have
every
somebody.
grant,
Yes.
person who's applying for a grant should show up to
yes.
answer.
I don't think that we're doing anything out of line here, because the
We're
trip isn't
giving-
until April,
That's
so they got time here.
Okay,
I mean, it's not like.
very good. Thank you. I have a motion and a second to postpone the consideration of this grant until our March meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. The next item is, So- yes.
Point of order, would that be on this year's budget or next year's?
that would still be in March, is still,
Used to be-
March is still this budget, so.
Right.
Yeah, next budget starts April 1st. Okay, representative from Suckle Spirit, we have a request for a grant for $1,500 from Suckle Spirit for to facilitate the rental of RB High School for their annual program and a truck to move equipment back and forth. And we have a speaker. Would you please identify yourself? And
Yes, thanks. My name is Howie Maskiel. I'm representing Suckle Spirits as their president. For anyone that's not familiar with Suckle, we're a nonprofit organization based out of Brookfield. We promote physical fitness through gymnastics and other sporting events, as well as some social and cultural programs. The grant money we're requesting this year is for our end-of-year performance show that our participants put on, which also serves as a fundraiser for us to kind of operate throughout the year and continue to offer affordable programming for the community. I would definitely appreciate your consideration.
Yeah,
Any questions?
I think it's great. We've helped out in the past. I know that a lot of residents go and view your wonderful performance at Riverside Brookfield High School, so I'll make a motion to approve this grant.
I'll second it.
Oh, go ahead, let Tim second it.
I have a motion by trustee Drapka, second by trustee Heilenbach, to grant the requested $1,500 to Suckle Spirit for their, the costs of their exhibition. Is there any other discussion, any more questions?
It seems, it seems to be similar to what our Jerry Owens does, but this money is going towards a specific event, so it's not, we're not duplicating our efforts. Is that
Well,
correct?
Jerry's class is a noontime class on weekdays, so it's,
seniors.
although it's not only targeted for seniors, that's who participates. And perhaps, how you could
Yeah,
speak
we
to-
do have participants of all ages, varying from 3 all the way up to 93. So there is more of a senior-focused class on Tuesday mornings, but a majority of our participants are youth, kind of
So
5.
we're not duplicating our efforts.
No.
No.
Complimenting, if anything. All right?
Are the seniors gonna be in the show?
Oh yes, of course,
Okay.
the highlight of the show.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, then Clerk Blau, would you call the roll on this motion?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach?
Yes?
Trustee Loveford?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Next up is the requested grant to Aging Care Connections. Do we have a speaker from Aging Care?
I'm here for Asian Well Month.
Well, and that's you, the applicant, the organization is Aging Care Connections, so come on up and,
I thought there's another grant there, so I wanted to make sure I was
Oh, there is another-
accountable for what I know about.
no,
So-
not this time, it's just this one, so.
Okay. So my name is Linda Hussey. It's a pleasure to be back here again. I'm happy it's not snowing. because I do remember coming over snow at times here. So I am the Aging Well Month Program Coordinator. I work for Aging Care Connections in LaGrange. We serve individuals, their families, and caregivers through a variety of services. We're a private not-for-profit. We're 49 years old. We serve 38 different Chicago suburban communities. But tonight, I've come here to ask for the Riverside Township to fund the Aging Well Month. So for those of you that don't know, but I'm gonna let you know tonight, and this is great for all of us to know, May is Older Americans Month. It's nationally recognized as Older Americans Month. And so Aging Care Connections, since we serve older adults, said many years ago, what are we gonna do in May to also honor, empower, and engage older adults? And Aging Well Month was the creation of that thought process. So during the month of May, we have first, and I see it on your agenda, so I'm really excited, we blanket the community and ask the community to nominate anyone 60 or over that's volunteering in the community or lives in the community and volunteers in another community, and that's making their community a great place to age well. And so we honor 75 older adults that are 60 or over, again, and we call them community gems, going the extra mile. So May 1st, we should be honoring them at a kickoff luncheon, but the country club wasn't available. So April 30th, we're going to be nominating 75 older adults that are 60 or over. And last year we were humbled and very honored to posthumously honor Judy Novak from Riverside Township and others, but especially Judy. So that's one piece of it. The other piece of Aging Well Month is a program guide. And this is, it's a thin guide, but it's full of a lot of things. We ask the community, we ask experts in the community to work with us to do presentations throughout the month of May in our service area with information that empowers, engages, and educates older adults to stay in their community safely and healthfully. Is that a word? So it's really a great month. None of the older adults have to pay for any of the programming. The speakers all do this because they have a love for older adults and an expertise that they want to convey. None of the locations that host any of these events charge anything. And so it's really a wonderful community effort to come together and to just really celebrate and engage older adults for the month. So traditionally, the Riverside Township has helped us with the kickoff luncheon where we kick off the whole month. We get the guides out, and we honor the community gems.
I have a question. I noticed that this is an increase from last year's request. What's the increase specifically for?
It's the same as last year.
No.
We're saying, we're saying last year that we gave you 1,500,
Yeah.
and now you're asking for 5,000.
Well, no,
Is
if
that
you
the
look,
same?
you know, I don't know why the last two were lower, but you can see in 16,
Right.
in 16 and 17, it was, you know what, it was a flat grant of 5,000 and a 1,000 Aging Well Month. And Aging Well Month in each of the last 2 years was 1,500, but you didn't come for the bigger grant, apparently.
In my request letter, I'm asking for 1,500 once again.
Oh.
You know what, are there two grants
I'm looking
from
for the
aging?
other.
Because I'm only seeing one.
You know what, I
here.
wonder if it wound up not under grants, but as an item, you know what, I think if you look farther in
Under
your
new
packet,
business.
it's under C.
1,500.
Okay, so it's under C, and that would be specifically for Aging Well Month. It's after the,
Correct.
in your packet, it's after the,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. It's up to
It's after.
Yeah. It looks like this,
Okay, the community gems, yeah, sure.
yes.
That's what, okay, yeah, I got it, okay.
Sorry about that confusion.
So is this
So this is just for Aging Well Month, and you're
It's just
looking
for
for the
Aging Well Month.
1,500.
so what is this other one for, the 5,000?
That is for all the other programming that Aging Care Connections does.
So, but that's not what we're voting on, we're voting on.
Correct,
the-
right, so
Voting on the 1,500.
we are looking at the Aging Well Month, which looks like this. And it is behind some of your other materials.
Well, I think you do a wonderful job over there at Aging Connections, you know, I'm a big supporter of you guys. And did you, while they look for their paperwork, that's fine, we can talk. Did you see the latest Wall Street Journal article just came out this afternoon on self-neglect numbers? They are way up. Self-neglect is way up for the aging community, 60 and over. And Wall Street Journal has a great article this afternoon on it, so.
I will,
yeah,
I
very-
will definitely check
yeah.
that out, and I'm sure our
Check it.
staff will.
Yeah.
It seems to be farther down,
See,
after,
there's
after the
fun.
Young Life.
I do, and that's a lovely luncheon, so it's April 30th this year?
It's April 30th.
After Young Life, then you should have another thing.
All right, 'cause I want to make a motion that we grant this 15, it's not really a grant, though, it's
It's a sponsorship.
It's a sponsorship, yes.
I want to make a motion that we sponsor a $1,500 sponsor for Aging Well.
Aging
For
Well
their-
Month, yeah.
Aging Well Month.
Yeah, I second.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Drapka for the, to award the sponsorship of Aging Well Month in the amount of $1,500. Right, okay. And are there any other questions, any other discussion? By the way, part of their distribution is a calendar of events. We have traditionally had our radio players program for the month in there, and it will be again. And we've also been asked, earlier, the exercise program with Jerry Owen came up, and we were asked if maybe we could do one of those classes. In the past, we'd been a little nervous because this is so widely distributed, and we could get a big rush, but I've spoken with Jerry, and he hasn't given me which of the two dates that were available, but he will get extra staff present in case we do get an upsurge in a lot of activity. And so one of his classes will be part of the program as well. And we hope to nominate somebody as well for the GEM Awards. So.
Fantastic.
I would like to make one more plug here with your GEM nominations.
Yes.
If there's somebody, and I'm sure you're aware, but if there's somebody spectacular that just goes above and beyond the GEM nominations, you can go ahead and apply for the Senior Hall of Fame nominations too. Did you? From
Oh,
the
is that
state.
through the state?
Yeah, the Governor Pritzker and his Senior Illinoisans Hall of Fame Awards. I know the nominations are available until May 31st.
Fantastic, I will look
yeah.
that up, I
Mhm.
appreciate that.
Okay.
And your support comes with 6 tickets to the luncheon, so I hope the 6 of you will be there. And if you and anyone that nominates an older adult gets to go to luncheon with their honoree, so.
All right, I
Thank you.
always go,
Okay.
yeah, so.
So I have a motion and a second, and that is for a $1,500 grant for Aging Well Month. And Clerk Blau, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Good, thank you. We do have a grant here for Aging Care Connections besides, and this is for older adults residing in Riverside Township will benefit from programs and services aimed at enabling them to maintain independence and to age well. This includes programs such as Adult Protective Services, Aging Well Neighborhood, Benefit Assistance, Care Coordination, Caregiver Support, Congregate Meals, Information and Assistance, Special Diet, Home Delivered Meals, Transitional Care, and so forth. They anticipate serving over 400 Riverside Township residents in 2020. And this would be to support their programs. They investigate elder abuse cases and so forth. So, what is your pleasure on this grant? You have their budget and everything in front of you.
Yeah, just a little note about Aging Care Connections. They're part of our Community Resource Center. They do a great job. They've helped out a host of people with problems and so on. That even Supervisor Wilt has said, hey, could you advocate here for this? So even though we don't have anybody here from Aging Care Connections, I'm very familiar with the work. And they do fabulous work, especially with the seniors. Fabulous work.
Make
And
the
they're
motion.
always available.
Yeah,
Make
and,
the
and
motion to.
the way it works is it's a coordinated unit at the local level. And then
Right.
above that, then you have the area agency on aging, and then you have the state. So it's, these people are really helping at the local level. And when it comes to the home delivered meals program, there is always a wait list. And you cannot ever catch up because you're budgeting money for this year, but you're already behind from the wait list last year.
Right.
It's a ridiculous cycle. It's terrible.
I know that a Riverside Township resident had some issues with his mother-in-law recently. And he said, he called me up, he says, I don't know where to go. I said, call Aging Care Connections. Like that, taken care of. Perfect, worked out perfect. So I make a motion that we approve this $5,000 grant for Aging Care Connections.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second to grant $5,000 to Aging Care Connections for their annual work within the community. Any other questions or discussion?
I don't see two separate grant applications.
No, there's just one grant application, and the other was not a grant application. It was just an invitation to participate, and it was a sponsorship. It should be in your packet behind the request for the use of the room by.
So it's in there. So
It is in there.
Yeah.
It's just not among the grants because it wasn't considered a grant. It was a sponsorship like we do of other events in the
I
community.
need the paperwork to vote on.
Okay, sorry, it got a little confusing here.
There it is.
So then, Clerk Blau, would you please call the vote?
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Drapka.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach.
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes,
The motion is carried.
thank you. Next is the North Riverside Public Library. We have a request for $3,696.84.
Plus
And that would
potentially
be
shipping.
$3,996.84 with estimated shipping. So,
Thank you very much for having us. We've brought two of us here this evening. My name is Lizzie Bowden, and I'm the Adult Services Manager at the North Riverside Public Library.
And I'm Brittany Musial. I'm the teen librarian at the North Riverside Public Library.
So first off, we wanted to start by thanking you for the recent grant to buy furniture for our makerspace. It has been really a godsend for us. The makerspace is open to the public. It's starting to take off, ramping up, and we have fully staffed up in that space now as well. So it's really exciting. So as you can kind of tell from that, the North Riverside Public Library has been making quite a lot of changes, mostly to our physical building to try and modernize and offer sort of updated library services. So we're here tonight to request furniture, again, that is kind of in service of that modernization. As of yesterday, we had workmen finish installing a glass wall that will separate our young adult section from the rest of the library, which will offer a space for our teens to get really loud, to potentially have programs in a dedicated area for them. It was something we were hearing a lot about, which Brittany will speak to in just a moment. But when that glass wall went up, it actually ended up cutting off our reference desk, which had been sort of in the teen section, from the rest of the library. So now adults, if they want to ask a reference question, have to come into the teen section, and there's a glass wall, so I can't really hear what's going on at the circulation desk, but I'm sitting at that desk. So our plan is to move it to another area closer to the circulation desk so I can be more involved with kind of what's going on there and be a little bit more visible for reference questions. And so one of the things we're requesting is a new reference desk. The one we currently have will not fit in the space we're moving it to. And also, the current reference desk, when I'm sitting at it, it's kind of got this high wall on it, and so people don't actually see me. And they don't, oftentimes I'll hear at circulation, well, I'd like to send you to Lizzie, but I don't know where she is. And I'm like, I'm here. So the new desk that we're requesting, in addition to being a lot more lower profile and accessible, has an area on the side of it where a patron can pull up a chair and I can sit with them and work together instead of them standing as I do something. So it's just going to be a lot more accessible for our patrons. We're also in the process of creating a perpetual book room, which will be an area for our patrons to come and sit and read in a quiet space and also potentially purchase some books from the North Riverside Public Library Foundation to help fund the library. And we are redoing the Kay Subatis room, which has been what our Friends group has been using to store books for their annual book sale. But we're going to turn that into a beautiful, comfortable, perpetual book room with seating and like a fireplace. It's going to be really beautiful. So we're also requesting 2 chairs that match the chairs that are in the rest of the library, as well as a bench for that room. And as I was talking about, we had just installed the glass wall for the young adult section, so we are also making a request for young adult furniture, which Brittany can speak to.
Yes, I can. So with a lot of the teens that come through the library, they're realizing that there's a children's apartment where there's like things for about like, you know, little babies in one corner. There's a thing that like maybe middle schoolers can go, and then it's just a cutoff. And then you go upstairs where there's the adult place where Lizzie's getting to work with people. They're talking about taxes, and the teens don't want to hear that. They don't have a spot for them to actually do their projects. We had a situation where the robotics club from RB said that they don't have a room to actually get to use their products and actually show off like the things that they can do. They've been wanting to do a partnership too, so with this glass wall we were able to actually have an opening for not only photography kids. They just came through here to take their photos. There's the robotics club that came through here to actually show off and get to build their things, and then we started realizing, well, we don't really have the tables to actually help them do their projects. They don't have the ability to set out anything, have like simple just essays to write. So they come in with their laptops and we don't have that for them, like a table. So we're asking for like these breakfast chairs or tables that come in that they can just slide underneath, and it's been super, Lizzie's
We have pictures.
She has pictures. So it's just so simple that it was just, we're trying to keep it like low maintenance. They can move things around. Then there's the ability to actually have the lifelong learning where they're actually going to get to come in and read. We don't have nice chairs. We were kind of getting like all of like the hand-me-downs basically
From
that
other
are
libraries.
from other libraries. They've been super cool, giving us the things that they've had, but those are also like 20 to 30 years old. And so we've been very grateful, but then we're realizing that the teens are coming in, they get to do their projects now. They don't have the seating now to actually read, so we were looking for like maybe like a love seat, just some lounge chairs for people to feel comfortable. They can read, they can just relax. It's a safe place for them to actually just come hang out and feel like they can be like their own mini community.
So we do have pictures of both what the space looks like with the glass wall, as well as pictures of the furniture we're requesting that we attach to the email. If you guys don't have them and would like them, I can pass them around.
You should have them in your packet.
Oh, good, okay. So if you would like to see the glass wall, it went up today, so that wasn't, we weren't able to attach that to the email if you wanted to pass it. So, thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, it says estimated shipping costs, so it could be higher than this $3,696.
It could be, but I don't anticipate it because, so we ordered from this company once before. We ordered 8 chairs, a really, really massive table, which we use for our computers, and 2 rocking chairs. So that was a much bigger order than this would be, and the shipping for that was $280. So I estimated $300. I actually anticipated it would probably be lower.
Okay, so what you will do is, oh, that's sharp. You will then order this, and then you will call Supervisor Wilt, and she can give them our credit card or check number, and we will take care of that.
Yes, yeah, we could either have them invoice us or do it as a purchase order or whatever would work for the township.
So who paid for those 8 chairs that you ordered before?
So those were done through a variety of options. We actually received a grant from Age Options, one of the local aging agencies, to help us do senior programs, and one of the things that they really supported was community building, and we did not have, the chairs that we had were not very comfortable and not conducive to sitting for a conversation or anything like that. So they allowed us to use some of that money to fund the chairs. And one of our employees, Barbara Silvestri, a longtime employee, had her 75th birthday party at the library and requested donations to the library, and she earmarked them for the new chairs. So that was, we got $1,500 from her for that. It was wonderful. Yeah.
I'm very concerned about intergovernmental expenditures, and I do not feel this is an appropriate grant application because furniture is something that a library should purchase for themselves. It's not something that we should subsidize. If it's resource materials, if it's stuff for the kids, that kind of thing, I'm all in favor of it. But buying furniture for another governmental body is not something that I think is in our purview. I think we need to be very careful about the money we spend with other taxing bodies. So I'm not in favor of this grant application.
I totally disagree with you, Trustee Silver. I am in favor of this. I think libraries are wonderful places, and, this, furniture is gonna be put to good use. I don't think it's frivolous at all. So I would like to make a motion that we, and I don't know if this is, that we grant this grant, but I would say, because they're not sure of the shipping costs, that we do a grant up to $4,000, with the thing that they order it, we pay, because we can't write you a check.
All right. I have a motion to grant, for the purpose of the adjustment of that space, a grant of up to $4,000 with us paying directly to the providers. I hear a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to grant up to $4,000 for the purposes of these newly designed spaces and their furnishings. Any other discussion? Not. Clerk Blau, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
No.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
By the way, I've had occasion to be at a donors reception last Friday at the Brookfield Library, which is building a new library, and the kinds of spaces that you're defining here are exactly what they're doing there. And the building of that library would not be possible if it were not for a donation of $1 million by somebody who kickstarted that campaign, for sure. So, all right. Our final grant request is from Beds Plus Care, Inc. Do we have someone here from Beds Plus?
Hi, I'm here from Beds Plus. Excuse me. My name is Julie Duraska, and I'm with Beds Plus Care. Beds is your local homeless services organization. We serve residents of Riverside Township and townships in the near western suburbs of Chicago and in the southwest. We provide, I think what most people know us for is the BEDS part of Beds Plus. BEDS actually stands for Building Ecumenical Discipleship Through Sheltering, which goes 30-some years back to its roots as an ecumenical group of churches in LaGrange that came together to deal with the problems of homelessness. And 30 years later, certainly, they have not disappeared. We have in our shelters, which is the best known and in some ways the largest part of our program, we have 15,000 roughly nights of shelter we do, 75 beds per night at 16 different churches from Western Springs all the way out to Orland. And those are run primarily by volunteers. Churches donate their space, we get donated food. On our annual audit, we have about $425,000 of in-kind support, and that does not include the time of over 1,000 volunteers who get up at 3 in the morning and staff these shelters. That is a huge amount of grassroots public support, and part of why I always make that point when I meet with government entities or foundations is we have a terrific amount of individual giving that has kept our organization going for a long time. We also do what is called prevention. Best way to end homelessness is to prevent it. Who that helps are the poorest of the poor, the people that I like to describe as one away. One crisis away, one divorce away, one job loss away from homelessness. You are eligible for prevention support if you're sort of teetering on the brink. You're about to be evicted. You can't pay that electric bill. You know, you've had these different kinds of problems. And if you meet a certain number of criteria, BEDS can help you with the paperwork and give you funding to kind of jumpstart you and save you from going over that edge. When you go over that edge, it's much harder to get back. Ironically, for homelessness, one of the things that makes it almost impossible to get rent or an apartment is if you've been evicted. And this is from county programs, city programs, state programs, HUD programs. Eviction is almost a guarantee that we can't get you an apartment. And that is like one of those odd wrinkles of unintended consequences in our field. So prevention is a big piece of keeping people from toppling over that edge. And housing assistance. Housing assistance is either what we call rapid rehousing. You're homeless, you've lost your home, you've come to shelter, you've been referred to us, you're working, you've got some amount of network or personal supports, you need a little bit of help to get your down payment or your security deposit, and we help you with that. And then there's permanent supportive housing. And permanent supportive housing is for the sickest of the sick, the poorest of the poor, the people that you see who live under bridges and who cannot ever maintain any kind of job or housing for themselves. And according to the Department of the Housing and Urban Development, the best and least expensive way to communities to help those individuals is to get them somewhere to live, support their rent with a third of their income, and often their income is SSI, and the case management they need to kind of stay healthy, stay on track. And we now have over 100 units of that kind of housing. Some of you may be familiar with our building at the corner of Ogden Avenue and East End. That is what is called a purpose-built supportive housing development. We have 20 units upstairs of studio apartments that people qualify for and live in. Our administrative services are on the first floor. Vera, I know you've seen and had a tour of the building. And anyone is welcome if you'd like to come and see what we do. I think firsthand is always the best way to understand our work. We have scattered site apartments in North Riverside, Berwyn, Oak Lawn, Worth, countryside. So we have a lot of places where people live in an apartment that they pay for partly through whatever their part-time job is or their SSI and support from us. When we come to Riverside Township, they are among the townships who generously support our work. We have funding from the Lyons Township Mental Health Commission. We have some funding from the Berwyn Mental Health Commission. And we, this year, got our first award from, a small award from Proviso Township. And Berwyn is, we also get funding from Lyons Township now and then that's not out of the Mental Health Commission. So all told, most of the townships that support us, give us something. And what do we do with it? We do what we do. We do what we would do without your money, to be perfectly candid. We have funding from foundations, from individuals. We always need money. There are always more clients than we can serve. If you look at the trajectory of our ability to serve more clients, it has gone up from about 600 a year when I started with beds in 2016. We're at almost 1,200 last year who we served, and our budget has gone up. It's an absolute match of more money in, which lets us hire more case managers, provide more services, and help more people. So really the only argument I can honestly and fairly give to any township that is supporting us is that's your reservation for your residents. If all the money went away, for whatever reason, there'd be our $5,000 request from you that would only be used to help your clients. There's lots of other money that are helping your residents, as there should be. And that's what we're asking you for. Last year, we served 83 Riverside Township residents. We imagine 85 to 90 this year. We're not anticipating a huge growth in our area this year because we're kind of at capacity in our budget and staffing. We have some grants in front of the state that might make it possible for us to get some more housing dollars, but the problem with housing dollars is they don't come with the service dollars. So even if we get a grant for $200,000 from the state to provide rental assistance, that won't be the money for the case management we need. So we're always kind of trying to juggle things. So you represent about 7% of all the clients and people we work with. And our request is probably not equivalent to what it costs beds to provide those services. And I only say that kind of to put it in perspective. It shouldn't. We have other money. It's our job to go out and get money, and it's our job, frankly, to get money that's not primarily from the state. We've seen many other social service organizations go through very difficult times when the state budget went through sort of hardship, and we weathered that well because the bulk of our support still remains private. So, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? What is your pleasure?
I make a motion, we approve the grant requested by Beds Plus.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, second by trustee Clark, to grant a $5,000 award to Beds Plus Care, Inc.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Thank you.
Clerk Flowell, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Ledford?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you.
And Supervisor, what do you think about a little,
We could take a quick.
I do hope you enjoyed the chamber music we provided this evening for their pleasure.
You are the first group ever to have that chamber music during our meeting. It's not usually part of the package.
But if you want your check, stick
Yes.
around.
Yeah,
So
that way
we will
yeah.
recess briefly to make some presentations of the big checks.
Yeah.
We'll reconvene. And the next item is the RB Young Life Annual Banquet, and there's a special use room request form in your packet. This is for Sunday, March 8th, starting at 12 p.m., and this is a fundraiser, I believe? Is it? Yes. And therefore, there is a request for alcohol service, and that is what is before us tonight.
They're gonna use room 30, that's on the third floor?
Can you
Normally-
speak to that a little bit about that they use additional rooms? Yes, please. And identify yourself, please, for the.
Sure, you bet. My name is Jim Bell. I am a Riverside resident, 579 East Parkway. I'm sorry, to your question?
Normally people don't use the third floor, and I see that you would like to use the third floor?
You use it as a green room, so is there some staging for entertainment or something, or how is that used as a green room?
We hope to have 150 people there. So that was, I guess, I'm not familiar with if there's a more appropriate room to use.
Well, they already use the kitchen, and I think room 22 across the hall is part of it is, yeah, the auditorium, room 22, that's on the same floor, and the kitchen. But they also asked for room 30, which is on the third floor,
Well,
as
it
additional
says
space.
for program participants, so you're probably going to have the program participants go out upstairs and.
Yeah,
Like I said,
we'll
they're
have
calling it a green room.
students and people participating in the program, so that might be a space for them to stage
Prepare.
their,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You know, to prepare for the program, you know?
And if there's a more appropriate space, we'd love any advice you'd you'd give.
Yeah, no, that's probably about the space that's easiest to use. It's either that or down here
And
in
plus,
this
it's
room.
farther away from the actual event, so they're preparing up there and getting their bearings together, and then they come down, make the grand appearance, grand entrance. I like it. Sounds good.
All right.
I don't have a problem with this as long as they get the appropriate assurance, the appropriate
Yes, it will not.
insurance. You have-
Yes.
You realize you have to get
Yes,
the dram shop insurance or?
We do understand, I did not put together this particular application. I believe my wife did or gave input to it, but she did talk about insurance, and we plan to meet those
Obtain that.
requirements. You
Okay.
bet.
An overview of the event? I mean, what are you guys doing?
If you don't know anything about Young Life, I don't want to drag this way out, but we have 2 staff members. We have a budget of $200,000 a year or so. We work in the high school and in the feeder, all 3 feeder schools, junior highs, middle schools, and I absolutely love these guys. I love what they're up to. The mentoring they do with kids, the authentic relationships that they cultivate, and I just love everything they're up to. So I diverged there. I digressed a little bit, but the event itself, we close our budget by doing 2 or 3 events a year. This banquet is a big one. We've been doing this for, I believe, 12 or 13 years now. Different years they take on a little different style. We were over at the country club for a few years. That has its pros and cons, as I'm sure you know. But so we wanted to bring it here. This year we're going to do heavy appetizers, and I think we're going to seat people, but bring the kids up, or some of the kids up, give people a sense of what it's about, and try to raise some significant money.
I believe that this is a BYO.
I think that's what we were,
Right.
we bounced a few different
So as long
ideas
as alcohol
around.
was going to be present, that was what we were, yeah.
Because if you're going to have alcohol, you gotta get a license from the village.
But I
of
don't think you
Riverside.
needed to do that, so.
No, as long
the
as
way
you're
it
not-
is-
you're not charging anybody for the alcohol, you should be pretty good.
Okay, very good.
But you do
Thank
need
you.
the insurance.
So this is an adult-centric event.
I'm sorry.
Are you on staff?
I am not. I'm the committee chair.
Okay, all right.
So
This is an adult-centric event, correct?
it is, yes. Yes, the kids will only be there, students will only be there as part of the program.
So you had it at the country club before, and then where else did you have it?
We had it here a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, I'm not sure, I'm only vaguely aware of the history. I came on about a year and a half ago in this position. And so I've been to other events before, but it's kind of a blur to me. So
Sure.
I remember being here, and I also, we were at the country club
Good,
too.
good deal. I make a motion we approve this beautiful event.
I'll
As long as
second
they
it.
get the liability insurance.
Yeah.
Subject to.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, I have a motion by trustee Drapka, second by trustee Heilenbach, that subject to the obtaining of our, getting a certificate of insurance from the organization, this request be granted. Any other questions, any discussion?
I have one question. How are you different from wildlife?
Wildlife is the
Part of it.
middle school, part of it. So same umbrella. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm glad you heard of them.
Man, D's
All right.
96, man.
Then, since there's some licensure and such involved here, could we please call the roll on this?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lopfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir,
Good
for
luck to
waiting
you.
around.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, we already covered Aging Well Month, so the next item is Cook County Township Day. I call your attention to the fact that they are holding it on the 20th. When I got this letter, I contacted the shredding company to see about possibly holding our event on that date again, but they were already booked, and I did like the second one that we used, so, so just making you aware, maybe we can reference Township Day, that it'll be our own, but I don't expect to participate in still another event just 2 weeks later.
Could we let them know about the talk?
Oh, I definitely.
About our 150th event?
Talk, yes, we've already actually,
Oh,
they're
we
already
talked
well
to them
aware.
about
Austin
Supervisor's always
Hopkins,
on top of the ball.
they have an administrative assistant for Talk, and Austin is aware of it. He was aware of our rededication of the building, and I will keep him informed of our schedule of events. Okay? So that was more informational than anything, but I did want you to know that we, as I think I communicated to all of you, we not only have the shredding company booked for the 6th of June, but we also have the location at the Masonic Hall, because we couldn't get the school parking lots this time. Okay, next item on the agenda is item E, the resolution to approve the Mental Health Board appointment of Jane Smith of 3408 McCormick Avenue in Brookfield. Comes with quite a resume that is, I think, a perfect fit for this board, and a lot of enthusiasm. So
I make a motion that we approve the appointment of Jane Smith to the Riverside Township Mental Health Board.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, second by trustee Clark, to approve Jane Smith of Brookfield to the Mental Health Board, and that commission will run for roughly 4 years from the 1st of this month up until December 31st of 2023. Any questions?
Yeah, I need a breakdown of who Jane Smith is. I don't know.
Well, she's the lady that's been coming to our meetings at the Riverside Township Mental Health Board for a number of months. She has a son that is a special needs child. She is also a teacher at Morton West in the special needs department. She comes very qualified, and she's a perfect fit, as Supervisor Wilt said, for the board.
Where
Yes.
does she live?
In Brookfield.
In
McCormick,
Hollywood section.
In the Hollywood section of Brookfield.
On McCormick, which is in Hollywood. Yeah.
Does she have any previous board experience?
Not that I'm aware of.
Has she served on a volunteer basis?
She has volunteered for several things, yes.
Yes.
She understands how our board works. Like I said, she's been here, been to several months of meetings in a row. So she understands completely how our board works.
You said she had a son or a daughter?
Son,
Son. How old is the son?
he's a young adult,
Very nice. Good. Mhm.
young adult.
Yeah, so she's been in the
Oh,
system, so
yeah.
to speak. She's both a teacher of special ed, and she served on a number of committees in that, from the note she sent me. I was trying to find it, but of course, I can't put my finger on it when I do that. But she, she has some mental health knowledge, experience of
Day-to-day
working through the system, knowing what kinds of resources are needed and so forth.
Well, that's important, that,
Yes.
that she has that experience.
Okay. Any other questions? Not, then we have a motion and a second to appoint Jane Smith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you.
I'll
Next,
make a motion that we go ahead and do the same thing that we did last year for the Riverside Township Lions Club.
and to refresh your memories, that is 4 squares that we do, so it's $100 donation. And attached is the ad as it would look, so.
I like that picture.
By doing it this way, we cover both of their
The
placemats.
logo is really nice.
Yes.
Could we maybe put in something about 150th?
Yes, I'll have that
anniversary?
added, just as we had it,
September 19, 2020?
okay, I will ask that to be added.
Might be good, right? I mean, let's get it out there.
Right.
Very good, I will do that. So I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
And I have a second by trustee Clark, motion by Drapka, second by Clark, to approve a $100 ad on the placemats for the Lions Club Chicken Dinner, and to add celebrating 150 years and the date of our event. Okay, all in favor? Oh, well, this is expenditure, sorry, please call the roll.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Food pantry, there was a question as to whether we should do something at Easter time, perhaps a basket. Trustee Clark and I were at Warren Township for a meeting, and there was some discussion of one of the townships doing that, offering food pantry utilization, people some kind of an Easter basket. I went through our rolls. We don't have a lot of people with children on our rolls, but I think even seniors would like to get a little basket, so what would be your pleasure? Do you think?
Are we
that
gonna do
should do
Easter basket or to give them like a gift card to Riverside Foods?
Well, the Easter basket could look like a basket, it could be a gift card, whatever your pleasure.
Well, I think if we're gonna do it, we should do an Easter basket rather than a gift card. That's just my personal opinion. And then second, when you heard about this idea, do the other food pantries that do this idea employ the Thanksgiving and Christmas meals like we do as well?
I believe they did. They had.
I believe
So they do a
yes.
1, 2,
They-
and 3 banger, right?
Yeah, they mainly do baskets for the kids that come to the food pantries, but Vera and I are discussing, we don't have a lot of
Right,
kids.
yeah.
So, but maybe it would be nice if we had money in the budget to give them something for Easter, to celebrate Easter.
Well, we still have money in our general budget for the food pantry that we hadn't really utilized, so we can transfer some of that money in there, and that would be no problem.
What would be in this Easter basket?
Chocolate bunny.
Well, it would be we haven't really totally, discussed this, but I would think, definitely a chocolate bunny, but then food for a Easter meal.
Okay.
So.
I agree with that. I was just making sure that it wasn't gonna be filled with candy.
Right.
Right.
I want something
Although it's
that
nice to
got
get a
little-
treat, too.
It's nice to get a treat, I agree, but
Right.
we're here for the nutritional value of it too.
Right, yeah, so we gave 35, right?
Yes, at Christmas, we gave $35.
So, either a basket where we could have, some food in there, and then, a $10 or $15 gift card to Riverside Foods.
Well,
or
if you're gonna do 35 for Christmas, I think it should be 20 for Easter.
For the full value of the gift, whatever it is, and
Yeah, basket, a bunny, and some other stuff in there, $20.
$20 for the whole
$20
thing.
shebang, that's it, no more.
How about 25?
Okay, 25, that's it. Buck stops here.
okay. So put together a package of $25.
Is that gonna feed anybody?
It helps. You'd be surprised
Give 'em a hand.
how thrilled they were. At first, most of them didn't know how much the gift card was for. They thought it was great that they could actually go shop for some fresh foods. Because we don't, we only do non-perishables in the food pantry.
Okay.
So,
So this would be a good opportunity to bring up the, Peter at Riverside Foods is totally wants to participate in a voucher program with our food pantry participants, kind of like what we did with the farmer's market, except we do it off-season. So maybe we look into that
Well, you know what, I actually approached them for the Christmas one, and they really preferred not to do it as a voucher, because they didn't want their people to have to calculate it, so they kind of liked the gift card idea, and they were the ones who promoted that.
However
so.
the transaction works,
Right.
Riverside Foods is totally interested in continuing to provide fresh produce and meat
Okay.
and protein to food pantry participants. However, the interaction happens.
Okay.
Well, do we have any turkeys left over in the freezer?
Oh, yeah, we still have some of
Then
those. too.
put that in the Easter basket.
Turkey for Easter?
Why not?
Why not?
Give it up.
You can eat
right?
turkey anytime. I had turkey for
There's
lunch
at least a dozen
yesterday.
turkeys here.
Maybe.
That's even better.
Do you
yeah.
think we should try to distribute
We've been trying
those?
to, we need, if we would just have a day when everything else didn't go wrong, I would get some of those over to the fire departments too. I'd like to have our first responders fed
Oh, right,
with
yeah,
some of those.
that's great.
Because we have
So-
a few of those. So, yeah, we will distribute, and, so, is that a motion for a $25 Easter-style gift?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by trustee Drapka, second by trustee Lupfer, for a $25 Easter time gift, and I will make sure that it buys the most and still is festive, so.
I can help you, Vera,
Okay,
if you want.
sure. And if there's no other discussion, then Clerk Blau, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Okay, I don't think I got any samples into this, but I just, carrying through the theme of what we are doing in April with the seed planting, I've come across some seed paper, and I'm going to make some of the promotional items for seniors this time. It'll either be like a card that's got like a flower, it almost looks like a spongy material. It's a coarse paper that's got seeds embedded in it, just plant it and water it, you know. So I thought that might be the environmental point, and I can get that at a reasonable rate. And we have like the senior fair in North Riverside coming up and other events. We could even distribute them during the festivities in September, so.
Do we know when that senior fair is yet in North Riverside?
Usually it's mid-May. I'm not, I haven't gotten the official word, and I don't think I've seen it. I think they're still on the winter, early spring recreation book, but it's usually like the second Thursday in May, and I will verify as soon as I get that information. I'll confirm.
Speaking about the North Riverside Recreation Book, maybe we can encourage them to take a new picture for their senior fair that includes the township, because there is a picture of the township at the senior fair in
Oh,
North
it's an old
Riverside,
one. Oh,
and
okay.
it's a very old.
In their advertising, okay.
Yes.
I'll
So
see what
maybe
we can do. We
yeah.
can maybe provide them with something. Okay. Thank you. And then there was some brief discussion. I just want to bring it to the table. We talked briefly at our last committee of the whole meeting about going to 6 p.m. instead of 6:30. I don't know if that really works for people.
Works for me.
Works for me.
Okay,
works
and
for
so do you want that for the rest of the year?
Wait, Tom, didn't
6?
you have till March? Wasn't your wrestling
No,
till
you
March?
said February was the last one that you did.
Yeah, last one I had to extend it, but 6 is like,
6 is a little too much.
that's a little early.
Okay, I mean, we've already got them set for 6:30, so.
6:30 would be fine.
That's
That's
a
fine.
decent kickstart, okay, so no time change, okay. Because the calendar, by the way, is in the clear pockets in the back of your book, in case you ever wonder about when the meetings are.
So we're at 6:30 now.
We're at 6:30, yes, we had set the calendar, January and February were at 7:30 to accommodate trustee Lupfer, and now we're back to 6:30 for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Okay, unless otherwise noted. My report, you've heard most of what's been going on. I met with the elevator company on Friday. The contract is currently in the hands of our lawyer and the consultant to put put it to paper, and I hope to have that done this week. And then, once they have that commitment, they will approach their vendors, and they should know within a couple of weeks when we can start scheduling. They should know within about 2 to 3 weeks as to a date we should plan to be down for. The elevator would be down for 3 weeks. You will note that it's currently down as well. It has had a lot of hiccups. We had the service come out to check it. It's just that those sensors are going and there's really not much we can do. So when we really need the elevator and we have people on staff, we turn it on, we run the goods that we have to do, and then get everybody cleared from the elevator and turn it off again so that nobody gets entrapped. We had a security guard caught in there last week, so,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
My wife got caught in an elevator one time, and we'll never forget it.
Right, no, it's a traumatic experience, and the day of the juniors event, there was a young girl who was caught in there and came out shaking and crying, and I felt really bad. And she wasn't in there that long, but it's a scary thing anyway. And it didn't drop or anything, it just won't open, so.
Well, Tim and I, on Saturday, we almost got caught.
Right, well, you did, yeah.
We did get caught.
We did get caught, yeah.
I started crying, Mary Robb, Trustee
Tim was
Clark
shaking.
comforted me.
Okay.
Good thing is, we had some cookies and water with us, so we thought if we were in there for a long time, we would starve.
Other than that, if any of you can tell me privately, but if you know anyone who is available to help out, all 3 of the office staff, myself and the 2 office staff have been playing janitor this week because our part-timer had already scheduled vacation, he's gone, and Bob came down with the flu and he was indeed diagnosed, it was confirmed flu by a test today, so he's not allowed to come back until at least Monday. So I have a few days when we're doing food pantry, we're doing runs to clean bathrooms and restock paper and,
Working hard.
reset rooms and all that kind of thing besides the regular work, so.
Is this a paid thing? You want?
I'll pay somebody if we can get somebody, but right now, it's just this week, for the rest of this week, but, I don't know, anyway. So just so you know, that's, otherwise, I've been working on, with one of the, vendors that we talked about for the September event, having to, send diagrams and pictures and things like that so that we can get things put together, but, work just continues. Are there any trustees' reports?
As Vera and I went up to Warren Township for a communications meeting.
Where's Warren Township?
Gurney.
Oh,
So,
Gurney Mills.
Gurney-
Six Flags is up there too.
it was, we didn't ride the roller coaster, but.
Giant drop.
So that was very interesting, and they want to meet quarterly and just talk about the ways that different townships communicate. This presentation was on using constant contact. For seniors, we'll have our senior lunch tomorrow, and that's really all that I have.
Okay.
Well, I was looking for a speaker for March 14th, and I finally Tim and I came up with the topic of suicide.
Right.
We just can't put it together by March 14th, so we'll have to find another date for that.
That'll be in April sometime.
All right.
Yeah, and then the other thing, if we want to do another presentation, and this would not be till the fall, after the big thing, the big event. The topic that I did have come up with today was women's suffrage, because in this year 2020 is the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage. So I was going to see if I could put together something on that.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know, is that a draw or no?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Could be, it's very much a topical thing, so. Okay, so we'll probably need to postpone the March 1 to April and work on a fall presentation. All right, any other reports? Trustee Drapka?
No report, I don't think.
Trustee Lupfer? I'll go that way and let you finish up with the mental health.
I'm working with the Q for a Cause guys. for the annual part, or the celebration. They're gonna submit an outline and a proposal within the next 2 weeks.
Perfect for,
Yeah.
Committee of the whole meeting.
That'll be right there.
Okay, thank you. And trustee Heilenbach.
Very brief. The last meeting was an abbreviated meeting. That is our annual event where we have an appreciation dinner for our agencies for all they do for our township. And the meeting, we brought on a new consultant, Dr. Joseph Triani. If you were here on Saturday, you would have met Dr. Triani, because he's the one that gave the marijuana speech. That was excellent. It's too bad that it wasn't very well attended. I do want to thank Trustee Clark, Clerk Blau, and Supervisor Wilt for coming there. It's a great presentation. We will have it up on the website because it's a PowerPoint. It was very, very interesting. And
It
that
was fascinating.
concludes my report.
Thank you very
That's
much.
right. And thank you, Tim, for putting that together.
Yes.
Oh, it's not a
Like I said, I wish everybody could see that presentation.
Well, I haven't had a chance to review. I did use my phone to tape it. It's certainly not the quality of if we had professionals, but if it's of any style, we'll put that on the website as well. Very good. Unfinished business. I think that everybody's clicking away on planning for the township anniversary. I don't know that there's anything to be decided now. We've been moving right along on that.
We do have something.
Yes, oh, okay.
The logo. We were gonna,
Yes,
approve money for the logo.
okay, that's true, yes.
So,
And one more thing, Trustee Clark, I thought Mike for the sound and lights guy, wasn't he?
I did not get it back.
Okay.
I apologize. I
It's not
reached
your
out
fault.
to him the day after, and you're roped in on the emails too, Supervisor. And I've been corresponding with him fine, but I haven't gotten anything.
Okay.
So,
Well, they're
and I
holding
don't
the
think,
date, I hope?
oh, yeah. But unfortunately, I don't think that I made it clear to him that I needed it by
Right.
today. So, but everything's fine, it's still a go, everything is okay, you know, there's no issues.
I think we wanted to rope in because of the date, am I right?
No, the stage. and
Oh,
the-
yeah,
Sound
the
and stage, yes.
so I just put together a little spreadsheet, of of our expenditures of what we were talking about at the meeting. And I have, we're at $28,500. So right now.
And that included like the music, the stage, all those kinds, and the finale show and all that?
Yes, I have on here the logo. I also, as I said, I contacted Twilight Rentals. They got back to me. They were around $3,500. The run we have for $6,000. Stage for the band, $2,500. Sound, $2,800. Band 1, which we don't know who it is going to be yet, I budgeted $1,000. Band 2, $1,600. Band 3, $2,500, and laser light show at $8,000. So I can email this
I'd appreciate that.
to you as,
Yes.
as I said, this total right now is $28,500.
No, I think that's pretty right on pace.
That's- yeah.
Yeah, we're right where we want to
And
be.
that's right where I was, yes, when I was working on budget, I increased it based on roughly those numbers and expecting there's gonna be a few more.
Oh, yeah, there's a few more.
Obviously.
I was just
There's going to be
getting-
costs with the village
Sure,
and,
sure.
you know.
Oh, right,
some-
and insurance,
right,
you know, this
right,
is, as I said,
right.
this is just a start.
Okay, very
So we
good.
don't get
Good.
to,
I would say that the Q for the Cause will be budget neutral. I think they're gonna charge an entry fee.
Right.
And that will cover the cost for the trophies and the t-shirts. But I would suggest that Twilight Party Rental, as a vendor of ours, might wanna consider donating their services.
Well, either donating or, I think that we may ask, you know, we may do it both ways. Let them charge for it and give us a sponsorship because I'm also, as I'm working on the budget, you'll find that there's another item of income that I anticipate being some sponsorships.
Yeah, we need to look at sponsorships and make sure that we get some vendors out there
Right.
on the
Right.
Midway Plaisance of Riverside.
Yeah, and I don't have the, Tom, we need to talk, because we need to order those flower seeds, especially the sunflower ones.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'll get those donated, don't worry.
Okay, I need lemon queen sunflowers.
Yeah, email me and we'll.
I
figure
will
it out.
email you that, so we'll work on that and have a more report. But we do, for the logo, I'd like to make a motion that we budget $600, and that's for someone to do the logo and to do a flyer for the run and a flyer for the event itself.
This is all encompassing in that.
For $600.
$600, yes.
That individual that you had
Yes.
would do all that?
Mhm.
I'd second that.
I have a motion and a second to allocate $600. Do you have a name for the firm?
Karen Flam.
It's traditional spelling of Karen.
Karen, yes, and Flam.
Okay.
That's
You said, logo, for the logo, a flyer for the run, and
a flyer for the
Whole event.
whole event, using the logos.
That'd be,
And-
yeah, that'd be good.
So,
I knew her cousin.
Any questions?
Yeah, Flynn.
A motion and a second to approve a $600 expenditure for
I second
these items. I have a motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Drapka, for flyers for the run as well as the whole event, and the design of a logo that is appropriate. Any discussion? Then can we do a roll call since it's money again?
trustee Clark,
yes.
trustee Drapka.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach,
Yes.
trustee Lumper,
Yes.
supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. And I have given you some preliminary work on a budget. I'm still working on that regularly. So I've given you something that says draft today. And so look that over if you think I'm missing things. We can discuss that, and should we set a meeting, or do we want to do that as our committee of the whole on the 3rd of March?
I think we do it as the committee of the whole meeting.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree
I
with
do
that.
too.
Okay.
I did have a question, and I brought this up before, I think a while ago. When it comes to setting aside reserves in our budget, what are your thoughts about investing some of that money with an investment firm? For example, one that specifically gears itself towards pensions, okay, so you know that you're not losing anything, you just.
Because they're more secure.
Right, exactly. So I'm just questioning about
We
going down.
can, I'd like to kind of see where we wind up with these big projects that are going forward, because we may not have as much to put aside then as we think we do right now.
Sure.
Right now, we've been banking things for, right after the elevator, it's gonna be the bridge, we're gonna have to do tuck pointing, and I'm not even looking at the roof yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We're all looking at the roof, but
yeah, I
out
mean,
of the corner of our eye.
Yeah, I know that I brought it up before,
Yes.
but I didn't know.
yeah, if you have some particular
Well,
firms
Mitchell
in
Bott
mind,
and
let me
Taylor.
know.
Mitchell Bott and Taylor would be
Mitchell Vaught, B-A-U-T.
VAUGHT.
Okay,
That's the,
Okay.
they do the pension funds in
Okay.
a lot of the municipalities.
we'll take a look. All right, so we'll just do the committee of the whole date, March 3rd, so there's no other date to schedule under unfinished B. Toy Annual Township Topics Day is coming up, so don't know how many of you plan to attend, but let me know if so that I can let the,
I plan to attend.
Real quick, the committee of the whole on March 3rd is at 6:30, correct?
Yes,
yes,
6:30.
March 3rd at 6:30, correct. So I know that Mary Rob was planning to go. Anybody else?
I have to look at my schedule.
Okay. And then we've got the Township Government Education Network schedule should be in your packets as well. So you can sign up for whatever you would like to participate in. And then you have the information about our township website. We've regularly identified things, so we're getting those fixed. It seems that if a page is updated with something, then certain things that you update that you would think are banners on every page would adjust, but we're finding that they don't necessarily, so we're having to make sure that each page is updated. But that's why there's people with many heads and why we're still paying for development, because we're all still getting it up and running to the best way possible.
Could we include this discussion on the committee of the whole meeting? I'd like to take a deeper dive on
Some of these numbers? Would you like somebody to come in and explain some of these numbers?
I think
Okay.
we can do it on our
Okay.
own at this point. We don't know about websites.
You talking about the website numbers?
Yeah, the website numbers, yeah. We can do that. So committee of the whole will also look at website stuff. Okay. We want to make sure that it's serving us best for all the events coming
I
up.
think just a conversation about, getting our face out there more, you know?
Well, I think we're out there a whole lot more than we
Yeah,
have
oh,
been
yeah,
before.
yeah,
Than we have ever
for sure,
been.
oh, yeah, for sure,
Okay.
for sure. We can only go up.
That's right, okay. And there was a mention, I've got a couple of you already volunteered. If anybody else wants to be part of that packing, it looks like we're focusing in on the 1 to 3, the food packing at Hauser, so we'll take a look at that. And
What's that date again?
that's on April 4th. Saturday, April 4th, from 1 to 3, some of their slots were already full. So, can we have the warrants now?
Now, you put a new one in our mailboxes, right?
That replaces the original general warrant. So, the one that says added 2/10/20 should be the correct one. Okay, who's going to make the motions on this?
On the warrants?
Yes.
I am. I move that the board authorize and ratify the payment of bills identified on the general warrant in the amount of $17,283.58.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Lupfer seconds.
Second.
So I have a motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Lupfer, to approve the general warrants of February 2020 in the amount of $17,283.58. Would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I make a motion that the board ratify and authorize payment of the amounts indicated on the following warrants. Utility warrant, $1,509.55. Payroll warrant, $16,794.75. Health warrant, $1,759.58. General assistance warrants, $1,600. Township radio players, $200. Food pantry warrant, $310.08.
I have a motion to accept these warrants. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Heilenbach. So I have a motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Heilenbach to approve the following warrants. Utility warrant, $1,509.55. Payroll warrant, $16,794.75. Health warrant, $1,759.58. The general assistance warrant in the amount of $1,600. Township radio players warrant, $200. Food pantry warrant, $310.08. Clerk Blau, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Trustee Lumper?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn this beautiful meeting.
I second it.
Motion by trustee Drapka, second by trustee Lupfer to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried.